a white supremacist who murdered 2 people in a 1987 shooting in Jacksonville, is set to become on Thursday the first inmate executed in Florida in 19 months, reigniting fierce debate over the death penalty and raising questions about drugs purchased by the state for lethal injections. The controversial 3-drug cocktail that will end the life of 53-year-old Mark James essay on a gurney at the Florida State Prison in Rayford shortly after 6 p.m. is experimental, the ingredients never having been tested together in the U.S. While death penalty opponents lament the resumption of executions in the state with the second highest number of condemned inmates in the country, some medical experts are warning that the convicted double murderer, who bears swastika tattoos from a dalliance with the Aryan Brotherhood in his youth, could die in agony due to the unknown effects of the chemicals. States are stockpiling lethal injection drugs that could be used to save lives. Read more. There has been no medical testing of any kind into the effects of this kind of dose on the human body, and this dosage could result in a host of adverse effects. Professor Robert Sneyd, Dean of the Plymouth University Peninsula Schools of Medicine and Dentistry, wrote in a declaration presented to the Florida Supreme Court by ASAAY's attorney about the anesthetic etomidate, the first of the drugs that will be injected under the state's new execution protocol adopted in January. Sneyd, a member of the Royal College of Anesthetists, said the nature of the drug, which takes effect and recedes quickly, made it likely that the subject of the execution will be awake for all or part of the potassium acetate injection, the final drug in the sequence that is supposed to stop the heart after a prisoner receives a significant dose of the muscle-relaxant rocuronium bromide. The pharmaceutical giant Johnson expressed its disgust that a drug it pioneered half a century ago to save and enhance lives was being used for capital punishment. We are dedicated to preventing, intercepting, treating and curing some of the most devastating and complex diseases of our time. Greg Panico, spokesman for the company's subsidiary Janssen Pharmaceuticals, told The Guardian in a statement, "We do not condone the use of our medicines in lethal injections." According to Panico, the Florida Department of Corrections has not revealed where it obtained etomidate, which was never distributed by Janssen in the U.S. The state turned to the drug in January as an alternative to midazolam, the long-favored but often unreliable anesthetic element of the standard 3-ingredient lethal cocktail blamed for horrific scenes at several executions. Midazolam became scarce across the country following a backlash from manufacturers and distributors and tighter export controls in place from the UK and European Union since 2010. Medicines shouldn't be used in executions, and experts have called this the worst cocktail ever, said Maya Foa, director of Reprieve, the London-based human rights advocacy group. How much will it take for the Florida Department of Corrections to heed the warnings? There's a real risk of a botched execution, and all the indicators are that this could go horribly wrong. Michelle Glady, spokesperson for the Florida Corrections Department, did not respond to The Guardian's request for comment. In an email to the Washington Post, she dismissed concerns, writing, "The Florida Corrections Department follows the law and carries out the sentence of the court, as laid out in Florida statute."